Hello guys, this session we'll be talking about Tembusu Grand, which is ongoing with their preview right now. So anyway, let's not waste too much time. We'll just try to speed through this so that this video will be shorter than usual. Okay, as usual, disclaimer, whatever I share today is just based on my point of view and my own research, so make sure to do a due diligence before you make your any move. In the best case scenario, or rather best case possible, please go and consult a professional, establish advice before you make any move. Okay, so a quick information about Tembusu Grand. Land size over here, expected TOP likely I feel probably it's gonna be 4 years from now, which is probably 2027 around there, depending on how fast they build. I don't think they are building an understory car park, so it shouldn't take that long. Then 300, 600 plus unit distributions, or here it seems that there are quite a number of small units over here. But still quite a healthy supply of 3-bidders lah. Seems quite a lot of 4-bidders, so we'll see. Percentage wise is gonna be sold. I'm not too concerned about it. I think it may not be like 30, 70, 80%. Anyway, like what I mentioned before, it doesn't matter at all how many percent you were sold at the start. It's just something, it's just like you go bet Toto for fun. It doesn't affect future performance. So for those of you guys, you are obsessed with how many percent is going to be sold at the start, please, if you use that as a gauge to gauge future performance, I can easily show you at least 3 to 5 of them which are not the case, super hot but didn't perform eventually. So I think to me if it comes to property potential and value, I would say that is totally not a factor, so cut it out. Okay, next. Location over here. I think those of you who are interested in the Tembusu, you're probably going to know by now there's a few others going to be coming up. Tembusu, which is Continuum, and then Diamond Grand right next to MRT. I'll be doing a little bit of review on those nearer to the date itself. But this essentially means that there's going to be quite some competition over in this area lah. And not to mention there's one more plot they just launched for tender. So we'll see. We'll talk about this later. Schools within that area, these are the retail you can read yourself, recreational space, kind of be rewarded. And then primary schools over here, for those of you who matters, not that same thing, same like the one I mentioned just now. Primary school, yes, to me is a bonus. To some people it's an essential, or you die say, or before you say yes, schools may be important to you. But if you are talking about future potential, appreciation potential, sorry to burst your bubble, but there has been a lot of data that shows that good schools does not equate to profitable gain. So I think there's another factor to cut it out. To you, yes, it may be important, then by all means go for it. But don't use schools as a key gauge to base your property performance on. It's going to be good school, and that's why there's going to be capital appreciation because there's going to be people buying it. All these are a bunch of crap lah. So let's just move on. Surrounding the competition in this area, for those of you who are a little bit more familiar, or you have looked around the area, you would have realized there's a whole big chunk of freehold developments in the area, whether big or small, and there's not really just like just a single big development. There are a whole bunch of big developments over here which may pose quite a significant advantage over Tembusu Grand, which it will cause a little bit of concern, I would say. So look at supply in that area. We just looking at the area, we already have about 11,000 within 1 km radius. And if we add Tembusu Grand, it's about 600 plus units, and that will make almost 12,000 units, which is way over the saturation point. That means once you hit the saturation point, you have to be very, very, very careful about how much you're buying into a particular property. And if you're buying into the weaker link, in this case a 99 in a freehold area, then you have to be super duper careful. Unless that new one is going to be selling, new 99 is going to be selling cheaper than the freehold. If not, it is not a foolproof method. Just because it's new, it doesn't always mean that you will make money. So I pulled out this one. Have some clients staying there. Congratulations to them. A lot of the owners are now asking for sky high prices, but it's justifiable. This is a good development, I would say. But now they are trading at around 1,007 range on average, 1,006 plus, 1,007. There's some guys who already got in at 1,008 plus. But if you look at Tembusu Grand, their indicative has been about 2,003 around there. The lowest, you don't look at it because they're unlikely they're gonna launch a few more units at that kind of price range. So average lowest at the start, it should be more of the 2,003 plus range, and average should be hovering around 2004. And if they are selling about 2004 to 2450 range, that means that they will be selling at around this point, which means that your gap is going to be 700 PSF. If this is a 99 versus a 99, then I would say this is not too much of a concern because this guy is rather old, but this guy is a 99 versus a freehold, then this will pose a significant threat, especially for Tembusu Grand, given that they are literally almost the same exact location back to back. Then we look at a few others in the area who are solid competitors also. And for those of you curious, this is the 2013 including measures TDA Sunline. So I usually use it as a gauge because usually that was when the market pretty much peaked. But you can see these guys over here, they've been doing well. Amber Park already just started their subsale, so it's a little bit too early to tell. But Amber Park is definitely would have been a very good buy for those of you who committed. So congratulations to you, provided you got in at the right price. But I think average for Amber Park, they got in about 2004, 2005. Imagine just a few years down the road, they are in a better location because after all, this Amber, compared to Tembusu side, which is obviously not as favorable in terms of location preference. But if you're talking about freehold versus freehold, then it's more of a something that is more of a bargain to me if they're going to be launching at 2004. But if this is a 99 at 2004 plus, and then you compare to a freehold that has just recently been launched, is a slightly more superior, I would say, after their ORCR. But this is still more. If you ask people on, given the same price, Mayor or Amber or Tembusu, which one will you choose? I think naturally people will choose Mayor, then followed by Amber, then followed by maybe even Tembusu or these three. So there's a certain pecking order in that sense. Location preference lah. But if let's say Tembusu Grand is going to be launching at this price, then these guys over here, they are, like I mentioned, solid competitors due to their characteristics. Then that may be something that you may have to be worried about, because in let's say, for example, today you got in at 2004 plus PSF, you need to be selling at about 28 exact PSF, and in order to hit that how much room do you have, and why would people today you are buying, don't always don't forget today you are buying a brand new development because you are in the show flat, everything is set up very nice for you. You need that you're looking at is stage to the pretty much, I would say, the highest potential that usually the developer will allow, because sometimes we agree the team is not as nice but it also, I would say, at least the design unit is likely going to be much better than, I would say, 90% of the units when they throw out the resale market. So I would say they would have catered to the emotional aspects of you as a buyer. But next time when you throw out the resale market, you lack this emotional aspect, because let's face it, most of us are not that good at maintaining a house. And in the first place, maybe the taste of the house, you must be super nicely renovated, and then super nicely well maintained, and then super nicely staged in order to achieve the same effect. And today you are getting in at this perfect condition at this kind of price. If let's say, then you will need to exit at this kind of price. If these other guys are not going to be selling at this kind of price next time when you want to exit, then since after all these guys are all freehold, then why would the resale buyers next time want to look at your 99? So that is a question In this sense, you have a few 99 in the area that didn't exactly make money. Some, yes, did make money recently. Silver Sea didn't really. This one just one quarter. I'm pretty very sure this will come down this quarter. Short residences took quite a while before they break out from the previous peak. Then moved up around a little bit. And then Côte d'Azur managed to break out earlier, but then already starting to stagnate. After all, this is still quite a old development. So the characteristics in this sense, they are 99 in the freehold area. They do not hold a long-term competitive advantage. And when it comes to property and we are committing a few $1,000,000, most for those of us who are savvy, who are more rational, you wouldn't want to commit too much, too many. You want to commit your millions of dollars to something that you know doesn't have an advantage. So it's like today, I'm going to a war. Am I going to be investing my money in maybe, let's say, a tank, a modern tank, or am I going to be investing my money into a tank from the 1950s? Obviously, the answer is quite obvious, right? So I would, if I'm going to put all my life savings, I want to put it in something that will be giving me a very obvious advantage. So this is the GLS in this area. This one is not brought up because this is a block site, and then Diamond Grand, and then upcoming this one is up for tender. This is Jalan Tembusu, which is Tembusu Grand itself, and this highlights a little bit of concern for supply because we don't forget. I think the past after Amber, there hasn't been much supply in the area other than Leaf and B, which is a little bit further in. But the thing is that how come suddenly this one launched, and then suddenly this one, and then suddenly this one, and then suddenly this one? So don't you feel this situation is similar to our concerns at our, estate at Lentor, which is, this one launched already, then followed by this one, and then followed by this one, everything come out together, and then all these are also up for tender. What is the reason behind it? Have you guys thought of it? Could it be that, the government is trying to inject a whole lot of supply in order to prevent prices from escalating super fast, which is obviously their aim because they do not want prices to spiral out of hand because they are trying to think for a long term. So it doesn't take too much basic, I would say it doesn't take too much intelligence for both of us to figure out lah. Okay, so for those of you who think this is a conspiracy, I would think that this is not really like a high level conspiracy. Is more or less, if you think hard about it, there is a rationale to why the government is doing certain things. And if supply is going to be high in that area, will the developers be able to stage the prices up to push the prices up in your favor as an investor? Because yes, a lot of you bought a new launch because you are thinking, the price is going to be going up here and there, here and there, here and there. But in order for this to work, other macro factors in the area must also, the stars also must align in that sense. So same thing, like what I mentioned, you wouldn't want to be the weakest soldier in a battalion. You don't want to be a weakest soldier in a company. So for those of you who watch Marvel, this is Captain America, and then he was the weakest link in the area. And before you are thinking, hey, remember what if the Tembusu Grand turns out to be the Captain America? After the inject the super serum, the only way your Tembusu Grand is going to get the super serum is if the government is suddenly one day going to come up to all of you, say, hey, guess what, guys, we're going to give you freehold land. Then your Tembusu Grand suddenly from 99 year become freehold. Then I would say your Captain America will really become the real Captain America, which essentially is not going to be possible because government has already stopped giving out freehold land. So for those of you who are still, you want your good school, you want your this and that, everything nice view here and there, remember sometimes it really is important for you to stay rational. After all, this particular development, these guys hold for about 6-7 years, and then they manage to see this kind of crazy profits. And this is quite a new development. And then the best part is that the highest profit actually belongs to the ground floor, surprisingly. And even though these guys are not as they are not as, I would say so-called as they are definitely more favorable than the first four for most people. But you look at the profit margin, obviously most people want this profit margin. But if you ask most people, one first four, don't want how to sell, blah blah blah. I agree, not everyone will want first four, but sometimes if you hit the right buyer and if you employ the right strategies to sell, then these kind of things really are possible. So the important thing is you always have to stay rational. And when it comes to property, you really have to know how long, what are you buying for? And then what is the potential of the area? Are you going to be holding longer, or are you going to be selling within the 3 year period? Because there are quite a lot of people out there telling you, oh, you need to sell within 3 years, you need to sell within blah blah blah, around TOP. So you need to maximize your profit margin, you need to maximize your ROI within 3 years, you must get out. And imagine these guys are within 3 years, maybe at that point they would have made only 300-400, and then they got out 3 years later. And then that would have been half the time. But imagine 3-4 years later, and then they realize that, hey, shit, if I hold on for another 2+3 years, I would have made more than double the profit there. But I didn't. So when it comes to property, please do not rush. Understand, if you do not know how to exit, you do not know how to read the macro factors, then please seek the right advice. Make sure the person that is helping you is able to read the market. Nobody is going to be perfect. Okay, nobody is going to expect that this guy first of all is going to make 1 mil, but chances of you landing in the top 10 of your development, given the right factors, or are you going to be in the bottom half, it is going to make a lot of difference. Because you can see even this one at top, I would think top 15 or what, between the top guy and this one is easily a very big profit margin. Okay, so it is important for you to stay rational and then not be in a rush to sell. Sometimes you really have to trust your agent that you are working with. But provided they have proven their worth, if they don't prove their worth, they just talk, today is the best time to sell, here is the best time to sell. I don't believe in that. Sometimes things will have to match. Of course, if you feel that you want to maximize, you want to sell because you want to maximize your profit, then it is better to think from a more rational point of view rather than I want to sell all, or because I want to move to this school here and there. Then you are being caught by what I call your own preferred timeline. And if you want to sell because of your preferred timeline, then very likely you're not going to be selling at the best profits. But if you are able to stay rational, then very likely you're going to exit at a more favorable profit margin. Okay, and that is all we have for today. If you need any help, please do not hesitate to text me, and I'll see how I can help. And please, when it comes to the Tembusu Grand launch, do not go crazy just because of a better thing. Because a lot of people, I got a good number, I cannot waste because your agent will be telling you, oh, very good number, you don't waste here and there. If you have to walk away, walk away. Because sometimes if you throw in too many checks, developers are too confident, they may end up pushing the price within the same day. But if let's say they are not as confident, then prices may be a little bit more controlled in that sense. Okay. All right, see you guys. Bye bye.